is how we like to communicate our thoughts and feelings, stories that can make you relate. And we talk to some cool people we met on the way. So thanks for tuning in. We hope that you like your stay.
Hey, I'm Hannah.
Hi, I'm Mel.
Hi, I'm Caleb.
And welcome to another episode of the GIRLSTUFF podcast. So today we have our lovely friend Caleb here with us. Caleb, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, I really appreciate you having me on. I am 20 years old from North Carolina. My full name is Caleb Hearn, and I'm a singer-songwriter. And yeah, I've been making music for most of my life and just kind of what I love to do. And just recently, it's kind of become a career for me. So I'm super blessed and super excited to be on the podcast.
Perfect. So just before we get into music and talk a little bit more about that, we wanted to know, what is one thing you got to do during the COVID season that you otherwise would not have had the time to do?
To be honest with you, I had a full-time job that was very stressful, half of COVID, and we actually got a couple months off really before I was really focusing on music. And I remember during that time, I did a lot of things outside, like outdoors, because with social distancing and everything, it was just kind of the only thing that you could do without staying inside your house.
Yeah.
So for me, like hiking and like just doing things like that was so fun and just like really feeling the fresh air and just kind of took a break from life a little bit, which
Yeah.
was so cool. So yeah.
And did you just stay within North Carolina, or did you
Yes.
visit anywhere closer to the border of the state, or what do you do?
Yes. Yeah, I mostly like I live in North Carolina and I'm pretty close. I live like 10 minutes away from one of the biggest like mountains in North Carolina. So like you can go there pretty easily. So that was an easy commute for me. I think I went to like the beach one time for like the day or something. But other than that, yeah, it's just like a lot like I love where I live just because of the scenery and things you can do just outdoors.
Yeah.
So really cool. Like today I went mountain biking for an hour, so which was crazy. But like literally I can drive 10 minutes down the road and just be mountain biking, which is awesome.
That's awesome.
So
I've always wanted to go mountain biking, but I don't live anywhere
it's
near mountains. So
it's not easy. Like I'm terrible at it, but it's still fun. It really is fun. For sure.
exactly, as long as you have fun, I think that's all that matters, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So kind of piggybacking off of that, the winter came, you couldn't go outside, you couldn't hike really because it's cold.
Right.
Were there any movies or TV shows that you kind of got into or binged or rewatched during the
Yeah.
quarantine?
I'm trying to think. I was watching like a lot of like I feel like it's kind of ironic. Like I feel like when COVID first hit, you had like Outer Banks, which everyone was on. So I watched that. So that was like earlier. And then I had like I think I had gotten into the show You a little late.
Okay.
So I got into that kind of waiting for season 3. It's show's absolutely crazy. But during the winter, it was a lot of like movies. Like me and my girlfriend were just kind of like love just watching like old romantic comedies we've never seen. I guess
Okay.
like the other day we watched a movie called Crazy Stupid Love. Never
Yeah.
had seen it, but it was really funny. So yeah, like a lot of rom-coms and stuff like that during the winter, I think, and like obviously your Christmas movies that you watch every year. But
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
So what's your favorite Christmas movie?
I have to say Elf. I just have to.
Okay.
Just because it's a classic and it's funny. But yeah, I have to say Elf for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I rewatch One Tree Hill almost every year. And like
Yeah,
that's like my basic knowledge of like North Carolina, because like
right. That's
where it's
true. Yeah,
supposed to be set. So
yeah.
I'm like, anyone says North Carolina, I'm like, One Tree Hill. I'm
Yep, yep.
somewhat familiar.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So just before we get into kind of the nitty gritty details of your life as a musician and your passion that came from music, we're gonna play a little game with you.
Okay.
The game is song association. So basically, we will give you a word, and then based on that word, you have to tell us a lyric with the word in it.
Cool.
All right. So
It's gotta be songs, right? It's songs.
songs,
Okay,
yes,
songs. Okay.
songs. Yeah.
Gotcha.
They could be your own. You could,
Okay.
if you wrote something that has the word in it, you feel
Okay.
free to use that as well.
Gotcha. Cool.
All
Cool.
right. So the first word is 1,000.
1,000. There's a song that's like I'll walk 1,000 miles to get to you or something. What is that song? Dang. Hold on.
So that one's 100 miles.
Oh, okay, yeah,
But you're on the
yeah.
right track.
Yeah. Hold on. I feel like it's really easy. And wait, 1,000 Nights, Ed Sheeran or something like that? It's not five. It's not 1,000 Nights. It's Is it? Do you know what I'm talking about? There's an Ed Sheeran song that's something with thousand.
There is.
Oh man.
Do you know Christina Perry? It's a
Yes.
classic. It's a classic song people
Oh
use.
yeah. That's what I was thinking of. It's something Miles, right?
No, it's not miles. It's years.
Oh yeah. But how many years is it though?
1,000 years.
Is that really it?
1,000 years.
Look, I'm not.
1,000 years with Christina, but that's fine. That's fine.
Yes.
First one, we'll
Oh
give
for
you
one. Oh for
one.
one.
Oh, for one, we're good. All right. What about this one?
Okay.
Pizza.
Like pizza
Yeah, like the pizza, like
to eat.
yes.
Oh gosh, that one's tough. Um,
Are you a Disney fan? Do you watch a lot of Disney movies?
I watched like Disney Channel growing up and some Disney.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you should be able to get this one if you watch Disney Channel growing up.
Pizza. Oh man,
Did you watch Camp Rock 2?
I didn't. I didn't. See, I didn't.
Oh
No. I know I didn't. I watched the first one and I never watched number two. I don't think.
So your homework is to watch Camp Rock 2 is what
Correct.
I'm hearing.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
then you can be like, I know a song with pizza in it from there.
I've literally never heard a song with pizza in it. I don't think. Not the
The,
word pizza.
the Jonas Brothers have done it twice, I'll tell you that much.
Okay, gotcha. Man, I'm bad at this game. Can we can we like crop in the practice one we did in the very beginning?
Yes, we'll do that. We'll do the
'Cause I
practice
got that one right. Okay, I'm just
We got the practice one.
over two. Okay.
You're good. What about try?
Okay, 1 second. Oh, I have a song called Try Again. And it's it's my no, it's that was the demo. It was Brown Eyes, Brown Hair. That's the song. And it goes uh get back up and try again. That's the last lyric in the chorus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. There you go. There you go.
You got one right.
You got one. There you go.
I guess it had to be my song for
I
me to
knew
get
one
right.
of them will have your own lyric to it. Like,
Yeah,
it always has
yeah.
to be.
Yep.
What about never?
We are never ever getting back together.
Perfect. Look at you. Queen.
Ooh. I know some artists names with that, but Queen in the song. Maroon 5, Beauty Queen of Only 18, she. Or is that it?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
at you. See, I told you. You got this.
What are we at? 3 for 5? 3 for 5?
Three for three. It's okay. It's good. We won't count the others. It's fine.
Okay, there's a practice.
You know what? You didn't watch Camp Rock 2, so we can't blame you for that one.
Okay, yeah. True.
What about lonely?
Lonely by Justin Bieber. But does he say that in the song?
He does,
Yeah,
yes.
he does. Yeah, he does. I'm trying to remember
It's the only line people know from the entire song. In
Yeah,
the chorus. So yeah,
that's true.
you're
Yeah.
good. You're good.
Cool.
Anyone.
Anyone by Justin Bieber. Yeah, anyone.
Yeah,
by Justin
he definitely lives in people's minds, like
Bieber.
rent
For sure.
free.
Yeah,
right
I mean
now.
rent free. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he kind of owns music right now.
Yeah, honestly.
But,
what about truly?
Truly, that's a good one. I feel like people don't use the word truly very often. Like,
You're not
truly,
wrong.
you
Yeah,
know,
you're
like
not
I feel like they
wrong,
don't use
yeah.
it too often. It's like, let's see.
I feel like we'll just keep giving you homework. Camp Rock 2, you gotta use truly in your next song.
These are good words to like start using. Truly.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to. I'm stumped on that one. Do you know it?
So there's one by One Direction called Truly Madly Deeply.
Okay, cool.
But it's like not as known. So, but
Gotcha.
you're right though. People don't really use truly in their lyrics.
Right. Cool.
What about flower?
Oh, this one should be easy, but I'm not. Let me see. Flower. Mm. I feel like
British artist.
One Direction.
Sure, part of One Direction.
Oh,
Just just won a Grammy.
oh
Is
my
also an
god.
actor.
Wait. No, I know who you're talking about. I'm just trying to think of the song. Um,
From his
I
latest
don't know.
album.
I don't know. I
Okay,
don't know.
what do you know? Do you know any Ed Sheeran songs? Are you a big
Yeah,
Ed
I
Sheeran
did.
fan? Okay, on
Not
the
like I don't know. I'm not like massive, but like yes, I listen to Ed Sheeran.
did you
Some.
listen to his Divide album?
Probably some of it. I see. That's the
Okay.
thing. Like I'm terrible with like album names and stuff.
Okay.
I listen to a lot of music, but I don't like. I listen to so much different music. It's weird.
I don't worry. I totally understand because I'm the same way. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got you. So one song could have been Sunflower by Harry Styles or
Oh yeah, yeah,
Supermarket Flowers by
yeah.
Ed Sheeran. So those were the
I could even
two.
do. See, that's what I was about to say. I could have done "Sunflower" by Post Malone and
Oh,
Sway
yeah.
Lee. Yeah,
There you go.
that's another one.
That's
I
another
knew I was
one.
thinking of that, and I was like, why can't I think?
That's okay. You got it. You got it.
Yeah.
All right. And this one you should be able to get. It's
Okay.
Miles.
Miles. 10,000 miles. Right? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Got it. Okay. Oh man.
Perfect. You got through it.
I feel like I just got a participation trophy.
You got, yeah, it's fine. You're good. You're good. All right. So now we're going to segue a little bit into music and kind of topics that you'll be able to just ramble on about, which I'm super
Cool.
excited for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you clearly have a big passion for music. But where did this passion like come from? What's the origin story?
Gotcha. Yeah. For me, it was like growing up, I always like just loved music as far as like listening to it. And, for me though, what kind of got me started was writing in general. So like when I was growing up, I was just the kid that like would just love to write. Like I really had a weird obsession with like writing like books. Like I would fill up like old composition journals and be like write like chapter books. It was ridiculous. And they weren't good necessarily. It was just like something I really enjoyed doing. And I remember when I was 10 or 11 years old, that always varies based on different interviews. Sometimes I say 11, sometimes I say 10 because I can never remember exactly the age. But around that time, there was a lot going on in my life as far as just like a lot of like switching up. My parents had just got divorced, and it was like just a lot kind of going on at that certain time for me. And really, writing was the kind of thing that I escaped to. And then around that Christmas, I think it was Christmas, I got a really cheap guitar, but it was enough to kind of start playing some. So I kind of taught myself on YouTube. And then I started realizing like I could start writing instead of writing books, I can like write songs and stuff. So I started writing just like catchy little pop love songs. And like, I mean, people laugh at me, but I got a lot of inspiration from like Taylor Swift, like old pop love songs. Then Ed Sheeran was one too. And, I just started writing. And for me, it was just something that I always loved to do, but I never really did anything with. And then high school came around. I kind of put it down. But then end of high school, I met a friend who was also into it, and he kind of sparked that love for it again. And ever since then, it's just been something that I've loved to do. And then just in the last years when I kind of realized that like I could actually make a career out of it. So yeah, but for me, like growing up, it's always been there and it's always been something I loved, but it's really not been until recently that I realized like it needs to be my life. Like it's that kind of thing. So, which is cool. But yeah.
You mentioned writing. When you're working on a new song, what do you usually work on first? The music or the lyrics?
Yeah, that's always I get that question all the time. For me, like I'm not super. I would definitely consider myself a songwriter first. So I'm not like super great on guitar, super great on piano by any means. Normally, like when I'm actually putting the idea down for the song and like actually recording it, I'll bring in someone who's much better than me that can make that come to life more. But when I'm doing that, I like to have a song concept first. So what I'll do is like when I'm driving or I'm in the shower or I'm doing things where I'm just when it's just me, my mind's just constantly filtering these like weird ideas. Like someone will say something and I'm like, and I'll look at them weird and they'll be like, why are you looking at me like that? And I'm like, oh no, nothing, never mind. I'm like, okay, cool. And as soon as he turns around, I'm like getting on my phone, jotting down a note because I literally just thought of a song concept. I'm like, this would be an awesome song if I could make that come to life, you know? So I'll think of these song concepts and then, you know, I'll start working with producers and being like, hey, you know, I have maybe a few lyrics down and it's about this and here's what I want it to say. And I just need some type of, you know, instrumental to bring out the emotion in it. And then we'll work together on that. And once we have that, a lot of times is when I finish the song. So I'll have this concept, this general concept with maybe a few lyrical ideas. And then, you know, a lot of times we'll come up with a chord progression. And then that's when it's easier to finish it because it is, I mean, it is hard to like write a full song with no instrument at all because it just doesn't feel like a song yet, you know? So for sure.
No, I totally get what you mean. You mentioned Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran, but generally, who would you say is like your biggest music inspiration?
Definitely a guy named NF, which is a weird genre to pick from because he's like rap. But I mean, I always grew up listening to rap and I loved it. And I think actually, even in my singer-songwriter genre, it's actually helped me some just because like it's helped me pick out flows and stuff and melodies that I feel like I wouldn't be able to pick out if I didn't listen to faster stuff. But like even with the song Silhouette that I just dropped, like it's a singer-songwriter type of song, but even the verses are almost talkative, you know, and they're kind of melodic, which I definitely wouldn't be able to do that if I hadn't grown up listening to people like NF. But just really the thing I get from NF the most was just his ability to impact others in an emotional way. And, you know, it wasn't me like, oh, I want to make songs just like that in a rap way. It was me just like, I want to be able to connect with people in the way he does.
You talk about like what you listen to, but what is one artist you can listen to on repeat and never get tired of?
He'd be one of them probably. But then trying to think, give you a new one here. Let's see.
Sometimes you find that your like biggest music inspirations, the one that you tend to listen to the most.
Yeah, because you find yourself like I feel like a lot of people like latch on to things that are going to benefit themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm going to choose to be able to listen to someone all the time, it's going to be someone who's actually benefiting me, you know?
Yeah.
So definitely him, but you know, there are people also, I mean, Justin Bieber, I could probably listen to pretty consistently, Ed Sheeran. There's also some smaller artists that, you know, they don't have enough music to listen to them only, but if they did, like Anson Seabra, Clinton Kane, people like that, which great up and coming artists that have big careers ahead of them. And I listen to them all the time too. So
Definitely.
definitely.
But so if you had to choose two songs that are your top favorite songs of all time, which ones would it be?
Oh, you didn't do this. I hate this question because it changes so much. Dang, two top songs of all time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or two.
Okay, so if I'm going all time and I just have to pick it because there's a song called I Can Only Imagine by Mercy Me. It's technically a Christian song, but it's just a universal. Everyone knows it. I feel like a lot of people know it, just because it's in a lot of movies but it's just a beautiful, beautiful song. So that would be one probably. And then I'm trying to think of the other one. What is something I just go back to all the time? Oh, I love this song for some reason. It's like totally different genre, but I don't know if have you heard Simple Man before? Yeah? No? It's a good song. It's like, I mean, honestly, it's originally like a rock song, but it's like an older rock. I feel like the songs that I would pick for my top songs are always going to be older.
Yeah.
Just because like the new stuff is so good, but like I just can't see myself being like, oh, that's my favorite song. You know, 'cause it can only
I totally
compare
get
to-
you. I get you. I can only imagine
Yeah.
one of my top favorite songs. So.
Yeah, I can only compare to things that I am still listening to now. And you can't compare a song that came out 2 years ago because you don't know if you're gonna be listening to it 10 years from now. That's why I hate that question, because I'm like, 10 years from now, it could be a song that came out this year,
That's
but,
true.
but yeah, no, those would probably be my top two right now.
Okay. Transitioning into your music career and what you've released so far, what first compelled you to really start writing and producing?
Yeah. For me, it was probably end of 2019 is when my current manager hit me up through my friend who was actually making music first, or I was making music first, but he was taking off and I wasn't. And I was helping him though. And, she kind of was like, hey, who's helping you with this? And he told her, and, then she hits me up and says, hey, you should probably, start releasing your own stuff too. And I was like, okay, why not? I was kind of just like shot in the dark because I thought it would be cool. And I started doing it, and really I didn't see results. Like, that was the thing. Like, I really didn't see any results when I started. And it was a slow, gradual growth, but it wasn't enough results for me to be like, oh, I'm going to quit my job. I think what made me quit my job and go all for this thing was just the fact of falling in love with it. It wasn't the result that got me. It was the falling in love with the process, to be honest, because I mean, when I quit my job, I did not have a steady income from music by any means, like maybe enough to fill my gas tank once a month. Like, that's all I had from music. So when I quit my job, it was kind of just shot in the dark. Like, hey, I'm literally only doing this because I love it. And if I fall, I fall, and then I'll just, have to live with that. But that was kind of what got me started, was her kind of pushing me along and saying, hey, give it a shot. And I eventually just fell in love with the process of, either failing or not failing. It was just more so just loving making music. So yeah, I would say that's definitely how I got started.
How would you say that the process of making music changed when like quarantine and lockdown hit?
It definitely, I wouldn't say it necessarily changed like technically, but it definitely changed in how, I guess, like what I wrote about, and just like my overall, it changed for the better for me as far as emotional writing, because I felt like my writing was already so emotional, but it immediately started connecting with people more, especially like I have a song that talks about anxiety. I have multiple songs that talk about anxiety, songs that talk about heartbreak, all these kind of things. And, heartbreak's been a thing, but, anxiety was definitely spiked when quarantine happened for a lot of people. And it was a rough year. So I feel like the way I wrote definitely was impacted. But then also like how much I was writing, how much time I was spending on it was, elevated so much. It's funny because a lot of people will be like, 2020 was the worst year ever, or like worst year for me. And like, it wasn't for me at all. Like, it's so weird because like 2020 was probably the best year of my life, which was crazy. And not putting down anybody who had it rough, because I know it was such a rough year, but just like honestly, like it just helped me so much to realize who I am. And I think a lot of people really found themselves in 2020 as far as who they are, because they got to sit back and realize that life is short, and life is short, and like step back a minute and look at life for what it is, and not 100 miles an hour all the time. So I think it was good for all of us in a sense, and for me it really helped me discover who I was as an artist.
So this year you released 3 songs so far: Brown Eyes, Brown Hair, Eye of the Storm, and just a couple of days ago you released the song Silhouette.
Mhm.
Can you tell us a little bit about these songs and what they're about and what inspired the sound of music?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like all those songs that I wrote definitely had emotions that I've felt before. I guess even Brown Eyes, Brown Hair to an extent, even though that is about a girl. And Silhouette is also about a comment. Both of those songs were made from TikTok comments from other people. So I technically wasn't coming straight from my own perspective. But at the same time, I enjoyed writing them and I wanted to write them because, I could have chose any TikTok comment I got, but I chose those two because I did relate to those in a sense, growing up and, feeling like you're not enough in certain areas, and feeling like, and then, for me, I was like, if I felt like that, I can't imagine what a lot of girls felt like, because there's so much pressure on them growing up. And I was like, I really want to write a song that touches on that, and literally just touches on the fact, like, it's okay to not be okay sometimes. Like, it's okay to accept that you're hurting, because that the sooner you do that, the quicker it is that you'll recover. And that's what I kind of wanted to touch on with Brown Eyes, Brown Hair. And I thought it was just a really good connection because I'd felt it and kind of, I guess, realized it, and it helped me. And then Silhouette was a comment that, I feel like everyone in the world has had heartbreak in a sense. And then that feeling of not being able to get over someone because everything you do just reminds you of, that person. So I felt like that was something I related to, and I felt like a lot of people would relate to as well. And then I guess the one I'm leaving out is Eye the Storm, right? Is that what you said? Yeah. Because Always Be came out technically December. Yeah, Eye the Storm was something I related to personally. That was the one that was not a TikTok comment. That was because I definitely have struggled with anxiety in the past, and just like that constant feeling of on edge and just like not knowing what's next. And that's like scared feeling of like, oh my gosh, like what happens if I don't do this? Like what happens if I fail here? And I felt like that song was just literally poured right from my own, feeling. So that's why I love that song so much, is just because I know that's me, and that's probably the most personal song I've ever made besides Always Be. But yeah, I definitely, each song I make, I definitely always have some connection to it. I really rarely would write anything that, I don't connect to personally in some level.
Yeah, you mentioned TikTok before, and that two songs and got made because of TikTok comments. What was that process like from getting these comments, writing, and then having them blow up on TikTok?
Yeah, it is like crazy and scary at the same time, because like as a musician, like you basically, I mean, some people know this, some people don't, but you basically, as far as, because you have to live financially. Financially is definitely something you have to look at. And literally, having your song do well is the only way you can make it. It really is. I mean, you can sell merchandise, but how are you going to sell merchandise if your song's not doing well? No one's going to want it. So they all go hand in hand. So really the song just has to do well. And, that's what there's a fine line between, I'm getting to my point here, but there's a fine line between making good music that you love, but also making music that does well. And you have to figure out a way to incorporate that. And basically for me with TikTok was, I would make this comment or a quick snippet of a song, I wouldn't finish the song because, there's no way I could, put out TikToks enough and finish each song, and that it would take me forever. So I'd put out just little snippets of songs based on the comments. And I did the one with Brown Eyes, Brown Hair, and it blew up. And my manager, I remember just her calling me and was like, hey, you have to finish that. I was like, okay. And I remember at the time, there's a lot of legality stuff too. At the time, the instrumentals I was using were literally just off YouTube or something. So I either had to email the producer of the instrumental and be like, hey, this blew up, let's do something with this together, or recreate this in my own way and like using different chords, or just because it is my lyrics. So basically, for Brown Eyes, Brown Hair, my manager hit me up, was like, hey, we got to finish this song. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And she was like, I found you a producer that could, help you kind of make it come to life. Because actually when I did it, I really didn't love the instrumental. I just kind of did it just because I wanted to get the lyrics out. And when the producer came back with the instrumental, I was basically like, recreate it for me, or help me recreate this, but look at my past projects and try to make it Caleb's sound, And he did. And I was like, oh my gosh, like he used like an electric guitar and just like this soft, pad. And I was just like, oh man, it's perfect, So that whole like doing that, the scary part though was, you have a TikTok blow up, people forget about that. Like when you like a TikTok, right? 2 days later, you don't remember what you liked, right? So most of the time you don't. So for me, I was like, all these people that just like this TikTok and were like, release it. It's going to take me 2 weeks to release this. So they're not going to want it by then. That was in my head. And I was so wrong. I was incredibly wrong, because apparently I was just literally one day saying, hey, y'all remember this, and put it back out. And it went insane. So I was like, okay, so they didn't forget, I guess, or it just blew up again. But it was a scary process too, because I was like, I had a lot going on at that time. I was actually, the Storm came out the next day, because that was the song that was supposed to come out. And then Brown Eyes, Brown Hair blew up at the like worst but best timing ever. Because it was like, the day before that song was supposed to come out, which kind of took attention away from that song. But at the same time, it blew up. So I wasn't complaining by any means. But yeah, I mean, TikTok is a crazy tool, insane, for connecting with people and just, letting them know who you really are. So, I mean, definitely not complaining by any means. It's just crazy how it all goes down.
Yeah, and you've been using TikTok to also promote your new music. And how has the immediate response from the TikTok community been?
Yeah, I feel like I'm just now getting to the point where like I have that certain following, because I know TikTok is just so hit or miss, because you can have 100,000 followers and not get any views because it's just so hit or miss. Those 100,000 followers are not necessarily real followers unless you get them to that point. And I think I'm just now getting to that point where the followers, that at least a portion of the followers I do have, are coming back for every video. They're checking, they're like literally searching to see, oh, did he post a new video, like that kind of thing. And that's what you have to have, because those are the people that are going to come to shows. Those are the people that are going to support you, even when, you might make a bad song or something they just don't really like. Because as soon as, if you have all these people that are fair weather fans or whatever, as soon as you mess up or do something, they're going to drop. And then that's your career. It's over. You have to think about that thing. So TikTok is an amazing tool. And I think I'm just now getting that point where, I have a consistent amount of people coming back, which is amazing. I'm so thankful for that. So yeah, it's a great position to be in, and I'm blessed for sure.
And with that, like, attention you're getting, there's also like some pressure, I believe. And have you ever experienced like writer's block, and how do you kind of go like handle that whole thing?
Yeah. Recently, which is weird. You might have just jinxed it. I'm just kidding. Recently, I've not experienced writer's block, and I've just now thought about that. Actually, it's crazy. Normally, I experience writer's block at least once every 2 months or so, but the past 3 months has been amazing. Like, it's just been just rolling really well, I feel like. But I feel like I'm sure it's gonna come at some point. But yeah, I mean, what was the original question there though with the writer's block thing?
How you like work through it and how you overcome it.
Yeah. I'm a firm believer in walking away. You have to. If you're stuck on something, like, there's been many nights where I'll be working with someone in the studio and I'm writing and he's just kind of pitching me ideas and there's just nothing coming from it. And like, me and my friends that do it, we're firm believers in, I don't know if you guys know what cookout is. Are you guys from the South,
Yes.
or you know what
No,
cookout is?
no, I'm not from the South, but I do know what cookout
Okay,
is.
okay, good. Okay,
I
so
don't know.
oh, it's so good. There's a cookout really close to us, and it's open till like 4 a.m. So we're working late night or middle of the day. It doesn't matter. It can always be, all right, let's go to cookout. Let's get our minds straight. We'll go to cookout. We'll goof off, listen to some crazy music off the wall to get our minds completely off of what we were doing. So when we come back in, we're ready to go, and it's just a full. So normally that works. I mean, sometimes it even works in the same day, but sometimes you have to take 3 or 4 day hiatuses where you're just, either you go on vacation with your family or you just book an Airbnb for a couple nights just to get away, or just stay home and just don't go into the studio for a couple of days and just focus on other things. Cause you have to, cause I mean, music, if you can even get tired of your passion sometimes and you have to keep it fresh. And so, yeah, that's normally how I overcome it. I go to cookout.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's with everything. Like, we are kind of just talking about music, but with life, like when you work on projects, I'm a photographer and Mel's a photographer. So even like editing photos, it's like
Yeah,
sometimes you either need someone else to look at it or you just need to take a break and give yourself that time off so that you can see
for
it with a
sure.
new eye and like see whatever it is that's in front of you with like a fresh lens is how we
Absolutely.
say it, right? Because otherwise it's like, you're so used to the words, you're so used to the melody because you've been using it for so long and in the mode for so long that it kind of blurs is
Yeah, it starts blurring. You can't look at things subjectively or object.
yeah,
I don't know which word you would use there.
both actually. I
Yeah,
think it's
both, I
both.
think. I think both, yeah.
I
No,
think it's
you're so
both.
right. You're
Yeah,
so right.
and I like that. I like that, it's walking away, like it's okay to take a break. You don't
Absolutely.
have to be always working. Like give yourself that break and that
Mhm.
time to heal and think and
For
let it
sure.
stew a little bit,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Definitely.
So kind of like going off of that, one of my favorite questions to ask is, when it comes to writing or performing or producing, there's always that sense of like comparing yourself to other people, you know. There's
Yeah.
always the artist that you wish you want to be, or the, in my case, like the photographer I'd wish I'd want to be. How do you kind of overcome that sense of like comparison and looking at other people to
Yeah.
your own goals?
Yeah. For me, this is actually a conversation I was having with someone that I work with quite a bit recently, and it was a really cool conversation because I feel like there is the sense of needing to be yourself and being who you are, and that's so important.
Hmm.
But there's also the sense of people can you can look up to people and it be a good thing, and you can literally
Yeah.
even model some things off of what you do because of their success. And I believe that, the one thing I disagree with a lot of people on is just the fact that there's so many people that are like, oh, just be yourself and don't take that idea, or don't use that idea, because it's not going to work. It's not going to work for you. It's not you. And you're right. Don't be them. But taking ideas and if they work, and if obviously something's working for someone, taking that idea and putting your own spin on it to be you, I don't see anything wrong with that. And I think that's an amazing thing because there's only so many ideas in the world. You can't like think of a new idea. What do I think of? Like that works. Like why, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a big thing in me that's, I look up to NF, I look up to all these artists, and I aspire to be more like them, but in
Hmm.
my own way,
Hmm.
like I aspire to be Caleb Hearn, but I also aspire to be doing the things they do in such an efficient way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a middle ground that I like to
Yes.
stay in, because I don't want to be that person, but I do want to do the things that person's doing successfully in my own way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, totally. I mean, when you look at artists that you listen to, you listen to them because you like specific things about them, whether
Right.
it's how their music makes you feel, or the
Yeah.
emotions they're able to get out of you. Obviously, everyone wants to be able to do that with their own passion. So
Absolutely.
taking that and saying like, okay, maybe this is what they're trying to do, and trying to do it, but in your own way, kind of the way that you said it,
Right. Yeah.
rather than being like, well,
Definitely.
NF does it this way, so I'm gonna do it the same way. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
probably not gonna work.
No, it's not. It's not. There's so many people that try to do that, but there's a middle ground. I think that you
Yeah.
take just what they're doing and model your work ethic would be a good
Yes.
way to say it, off
Yeah.
of how they're working.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. I
definitely.
love that. I love that. So how do you kind of maintain a balance between like your personal life and your career? What do you do? Are you a checklist
Yeah.
kind of guy? Like, are you
Yes, I'm super, super OCD, and oh my gosh, my manager can tell you this, but like she helps me keep a Google Calendar, and every like session, and even today it was on my Google Calendar. I already knew about it. It was set in stone,
Mhm.
and everything was just kind of lined out that way. But then me and my manager were talking one time because I literally have like other things that I throw on that Google Calendar, and I didn't know it was giving her alerts and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just personal stuff because I'm so OCD. I'll have like take my dog to the vet like there, and then like pick up
You're speaking my
medicine for
language,
someone
Caleb.
here.
That's
Like
what I do.
literally like pick up groceries Monday at 2 p.m. Like it's that bad. It's like because it just my brain works like that way. And if I do it that way, I will stay organized and I'll be good to go. But if I
Yeah.
don't, I just feel like I forget it and like it just girls, and then I get overwhelmed when I'm trying to do everything at once. It's
I
crazy.
get you. Trust me, I've got a color coordinated calendar too. Like
Oh yeah.
mine's got its own colors. It's like
Oh wow.
it's to the point where I once, because I'm such a person that likes to schedule, like I schedule
Yeah.
everything in my life, like just
There's
like you
a
said, take
yeah,
your dog to
there's
the vet, and
right. There's like a satisfaction to scheduling.
there
I think
is,
I think
there
just
is.
jotting it down and having it there's definitely like satisfaction in that.
Well, I
You
think it
also
also
like
keeps you kind of like, what's like it kind of forces you to do it.
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
like I always say, if it's not on my calendar, I won't do it because I'll forget
right,
about it and I'll just
right.
zone out. But if it's
Yep.
there and I get the alert 15 minutes before, hey, you need to go pick up groceries, or hey, you need to work on this project, it's a
Mm,
good reminder too. It keeps you true to yourself as well in
Definitely.
project. So
Definitely. Yeah.
well, glad I found another calendar person. This is fantastic.
That's my middle name.
Exactly.
That's great.
Does it ever feel too much for you, like dealing with career and balancing personal life and your family and your friends and that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, at time there's definitely been times where I've felt that, it may be too much and I've had to, and normally it's on the sense of normally it's always that the music's too much and that
Mm.
I'm losing time with family or I'm losing time with my girlfriend or my friends or whatever. But, for me recently, which has been great, is I've been combining the two a little bit. Like
Mhm.
I've been like instead of having to make my social media posts or my TikToks all about music and all like this perfect, thing,
Mhm.
I've realized that like to stay up with content and stay relevant, I guess they say, I need to post, I need to do this, but I can also do that with my friends and I can also do that, while I'm spending time with family. Like I recently started coming out of my comfort zone and posting like funny videos on TikTok every
Mhm.
once in a while just to throw out there. And just that's just daily life for me.
Yeah.
And they see and it seemed to do well. I don't know if you guys know a person named Gary Vaynerchuk,
No.
but Gary V, but he's like one of the biggest social media influencers and he's basically his whole life is dedicated to helping people build their businesses around social media and like how to be a social media presence the right way.
Yeah.
And he is just a firm believer, and that's kind of where I got it from, of people don't want to hear your music all the time if you're a musician. People don't want to see your photos if you're a photographer all the time. They want to see who you are at the core,
Yeah.
like at least 50% of the time. And that's what I've kind of been crawling out of my comfort zone with, because like I was like, I don't want to show who I really am, because then what if they don't like me? They like my music. I know that's working, so why don't I just keep doing that? But you got to come out of that comfort zone, and I feel like that's a great way to also to combat the, I guess, if you ever feel like you're not spending enough time with people or that kind of thing, and you're unbalanced. I feel like you can
Yeah.
balance it that way.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think one of the major things that like I learned is they say like your top 9 photos on Instagram, one of them needs to be of you and your face. Just here's
Yeah.
who I am, whether
Oh,
it's a goofy
definitely.
photo or it's a photo with your family or
Definitely,
in your case
definitely.
like your
Your
friends or your
dog or
girlfriend.
yeah,
Yeah,
just something,
right.
like anything that screams you.
Yeah, exactly.
And you realize those are the ones that get the most likes and the most engagement and the most, because it's you and it's the unfiltered. We live in such
Yes.
an unfiltered society now, which is amazing. I love it.
I know
Like
it's
2 years ago,
fantastic.
I really think it's COVID, to be honest, because before COVID, you realize like every Instagram photo was like had a filter on it, and people are all about like how can I look really, really good. And now it's
Mhm.
like, oh, I don't really care, because this is just who I am. And I really think it's this that craving for people to see each other's faces. They're like, oh, I haven't seen people in so long. Like when you see an unfiltered photo, you're just like, wow, like that's that person. Like I feel
Yeah.
connected to them. And if it was filtered, it wouldn't feel as connected. And you don't
Mhm.
feel like they're better than you in a sense, because they're perfect.
Yes.
So it is a real, I love the society in that sense that we live in, as far as the unfiltered and that being acceptable.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like, even like photo dumps, like people just like, here's
Yeah,
just a dump of like the last couple of weeks, and
yeah.
it's just like
It's a great
everything
thing.
and nothing.
Yeah, it's so much better. Like again, I'm not really a social media person anyway,
Mhm.
but if I'm
Yes.
gonna be a social media person, then I would rather it be that way than
Yeah.
this fake facade type of thing.
hmm And I think it's like, I mean, you said it, like COVID kind of brought out the fact that we're all human beings and we all deal through things and we're all imperfectly
Definitely.
perfect is how I like to put it.
Yeah,
So you don't need to fit into society's standards for you
right,
to be loved because you're just
right.
loved as you are, right?
Yeah,
And I think that's what COVID to me was like very like beneficial for, because I was like, I don't need to fit into this box that people keep putting me in because I'm just
yeah,
me.
for sure, absolutely.
So have you set any goals for yourself in 2021?
Absolutely. One of the big goals is to, like, if I'm putting it in a number, I really wanted to play 5 shows this year.
Okay.
So as of right now, I have 2 set, or 1 set, the other one kind of pretty much set, but in the works.
Yeah.
One being in New York, one being in LA, and that's both kind of set for the summer. So I'm hoping that, I can schedule, 2 or 3 more throughout the year, and then, going into 22, actually go on tour for the first time. But
Okay.
that's kind of the goals for me touring wise. I really want to hit 1 million followers on TikTok just because, like it would just be cool, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, just a small goal. And another big goal is for me is 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify, which is just a really big, kind of a milestone feeling, like
Hmm.
like having 1 million people monthly that are supporting,
Yeah.
whether that be you just dropped a song or not, just either way. It's just something that I've always wanted. It's kind of something that I've looked up, yeah, I guess looked up to since I was really, Spotify was a thing. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like it would be crazy to have that many. um but yeah, those are kind of like, I like to put things in numbers because I feel like it's a good way to gauge things.
Yes.
But then there's also, personal goals in life too. Just like I want to be in the best shape of my life this year. I also
Hmm.
want to, I want to travel more this year. That's really my goal because I know things are opening up, and like my goal is to really get out and travel and to see the world more this year, which is
Yeah.
huge.
Well, when you go on tour, Mel and I will be there. Don't you worry.
Awesome.
You better hit up Toronto because I'll be front row and center.
Let's go. Awesome. Toronto. I'll mark it down. That's one of the
We're-
And
first places.
And
Germany.
Germany, because those are the
Oh,
two people
wow.
you've got here.
Gotcha. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Awesome. Awesome.
But if we have to fly to LA, I don't think we'll have a problem with that.
Hey, you can make it like a trip type of thing. It doesn't have to be just for the show. You can go a
Exactly.
few
We'll
days,
make it. We'll make it a whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be sick.
No, but that's amazing. Honestly, I mean, my favorite thing is seeing young, new artists hit those milestones. Like
Yeah.
I was a fan of Louis Capaldi before he was a big thing. And
Right.
just watching him go, I'm like, I feel like, I saw
Yeah,
him when he
like
was
you're
this.
part of it. You feel
Yeah,
like you're a part of it. Yeah, you were
exactly.
a part of
Yeah,
that growth, which you were. And I feel like that's huge for people,
yeah. Well, we're a part of your growth, so don't worry, Caleb. We got you.
Thank you so much.
So just one last question before we kind of go into just some fun questions to end us
Okay.
off.
Yeah.
Do you ever deal with like performance anxiety or like kind of like this feeling of maybe messing up? And how do you
All
deal
the
with
time.
that?
Yeah, all the time. I haven't got to perform too much, but even I even had like a little live stream type of concert, I guess,
Mhm.
a while back. And even that, being in a room by myself, but knowing that people were watching, like I was scared even then. So for me, that's what probably one of my, I mean, just to be honest, that's probably one of my biggest fears, is something that I have to, that's probably one of the biggest goals, I guess. That could be a new goal because I never really
Yeah.
thought of it like that. But 2021 would be 5 shows, but the big goal is to, by the end of those 5 shows, feel extremely comfortable in
Mhm.
performing, because that's something that I don't feel comfortable with completely. And I feel like that could be something I grow in and something that, I really focus on. So yes, I do get very, very anxious performing in front of people, for sure.
It's okay. You'll get better. I always say you can
Hopefully.
only go up
Practice
from
makes
every place
perfect.
that you're in.
That's very true. That's very true. Practice makes perfect. Firmly
Exactly.
in.
Yeah. And I mean, we can blame COVID on you not being able to perform as much.
Yeah, for sure, for
COVID
sure.
COVID ruined all the live performances.
Yeah, they did. It really did. It really did.
All
Yes, for
right.
sure.
So Mel will take us through a couple of fun questions before we just end our time together.
Sounds good.
Yeah, this is just a compilation of different weird questions that we thought would be fun to know about people.
Okay.
So the first one, you have to pick a song again. But if you had to pick a song to play every single time you enter a room, which song would it be and why?
Oh, every time I enter, like I enter the room, so like it's
Yeah.
what that people would hear as I enter.
Yeah, like your walkout song.
Okay, kind of like your walkout song. That's cool. That's a cool question. I really love that. It's gonna be funny when I tell you, but I think I would go with. Wait. Hold on. I'm making sure that's the one. Um. Okay, it's, hold on. I gotta make sure I get the name right
Is it okay?
because
We're
I'm really.
here. I'm excited now.
I'm very intrigued.
Wait. I don't know if it's gonna be that one or not, because this is something I really like this question. Probably. Okay, yeah, definitely still Dre, Dr. Dre, and Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
I know it's like totally off, but just like that song is just so iconic to like coming out, I guess. I feel like every time that you would enter a room, if that started playing, everybody would just be like, oh yeah, he's here, like that kind of thing, which would be really fun and cool.
The
But
perfect hype song. It's the
yeah,
perfect hype song.
yeah. And like you don't want to enter a room and just like have like a sad song playing by any
That's
means. Even though
true.
the best songs in my opinion.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I feel like it's gotta be hype or just really fun, you know?
Yes.
So I had to go with that one.
I love it. Okay, another question we have is, what is the craziest food combination you've ever tried?
Food combination. I'm very, very like picky, so I haven't tried like super like too crazy of, I guess, because I just like never really wanted to. But yeah, honestly, when I tell you the craziest food combination, you're gonna be like, I eat those. Like that, it's got that kind of thing. Because I've actually heard people do eat it together, but like for me, it was just like, oh my gosh, like I am stepping way out of my comfort zone.
Don't tell me it's like
But
fries in a milkshake.
oh no. See, but it is that kind of thing. It is that kind of thing though, because I do eat those. But for me, and I liked it. For me, it was macaroni and hot dog slices, which I've heard people eat before. It was
Yes.
so good, so good. But I've heard people eat it, and I was like just putting the hot dogs in the macaroni. I was like, oh, like no, this isn't it. Then I take a bite, and I'm like, okay, I see what they're saying now because it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Now you
that's
just gotta
honestly,
add ketchup on top. That's it.
ooh, I couldn't do that. Oh, you lost me there. Actually, wait. I could say this because a lot of people hate this, but pineapple on pizza, I love it.
That's the best.
That is the best. I love
That is the best.
it. I love pineapple on pizza.
I'm allergic to pineapple, but I do like it.
Okay, gotcha. Man, that's really tough. I love pineapple. I would hate
Yeah.
to be allergic to pineapple.
Oh,
I like it too. My body just doesn't. But
Yeah.
no, but you mentioned before that you want to travel more this year. So far, what is your favorite place that you have traveled to?
Definitely Hawaii. That's probably my favorite place I've ever been.
mm,
I was younger when I went, but it was just really like cool to look at. Like everything was just so nice. Like everything is like the movies. It really is like a movie. Like everywhere you go is just like wow. Like you just have like blue water, and then right beside of it is like mountains. It's just crazy. And then white sand. It's insane. So yeah, definitely Hawaii was the coolest. But yeah, I have a lot of places I want to go there too, that I think could top it. You know,
So if you could snap your fingers and be anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
right now
Right now.
it depends on who I'm with and like, because if I snap my finger and I'm just there and I'm like I don't have any money or anything, I'd be freaked. But okay, just pretend. Okay, we'll just pretend that we have
Pretend you have
everything's worked out.
everything.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Everything's worked out. Like house is good. Everything.
Yes,
Okay. So I wouldn't
everything.
have, see, that's my OCD mind. I'm like, yeah, sure, it snaps me to where I want to be, but like, what happens? Like, do I get a plane?
What's the
back?
itinerary?
Like, what do we do? You know, where's my calendar? Where's no? But no. If I snap my finger right now, I'd probably say like Cozumel, Mexico.
Okay.
I've been there once, but I didn't really get to experience it. And I was like, oh man, I would really love to stay here for a little longer.
Okay.
I feel like right now, that's what the first place I would want to go.
Okay, interesting. Interesting.
Okay, the next question is, if you didn't have the career you do right now, what would you be up to?
Well, I'm still in school, so I would either I would still be at my sales job, or I would be going into finance, which is what I'm in school for. So either one of those two things is probably what I would be doing, which I guess neither one of those are crazy cool by any means, but that's just, I guess, what I'd probably be doing.
Yeah.
But I'm much happier with what I'm doing.
I bet.
Yeah.
Okay, dipped our feet a little bit into TV shows and movies, but what is one fictional character you think would be very exciting to meet in real life?
One fictional character?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely anybody from Toy Story.
Okay.
Definitely. I would definitely want to. I definitely would want to meet like Woody or like Buzz Lightyear.
Okay. Would you like to chant with them too?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Infinity and
I would,
beyond.
right. I would want to be in the movie with them, of course. But
Okay.
no, I don't know. I just grew up loved watching, or like The Incredibles or something like that.
Yeah.
Something really cool. But
Disney at heart. I'm here for it. I love it. The Disney at heart.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
Okay. And the question that will end this interview is, what would you say is the most useless talent that you have?
Useless? Let's see. That's a good question. These questions are good. Trying to think here. Useless talent. See, I'm not very talented, but let's see here.
I mean, mine would be that I pick up TikTok dances really, really quickly.
Okay, like something. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Stuff that you're just good at, but like it doesn't really
Doesn't do
no,
anything.
it doesn't do anything. Oh man. Dang, what am I thinking here? Y'all stumping me too much today.
That's what we like to do.
I would. Okay, mm, mm, I don't know. I really don't know. I guess the only like thing that I would say I'm good at that doesn't really help or matter, but I wouldn't say I'm good at it. It's just like a slight thing. And don't ask me because I'm not gonna do it in front of anybody. But I've been told at times I can do, if I really think about it, like if they give me a day or so, I can do impressions a little bit.
Okay.
But not that well. So I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Well, you said you needed a day or two, so maybe next time.
Yes.
We'll
Give me somebody.
prep
I'll
you.
study up on them and I'll see if I can do it. But like a lot of times I can't. But like it's just like one of those things people are like, it's one of those things like if you get to do it, they're like, dang, you're actually pretty good at that. And I'm like, thanks. And they're like, what do you want to go eat? Like it's just like it's just like it's not like, dang, you're pretty good at that. We should like get you on the mic or something. It's just like, cool, man. All right, let's go eat.
Okay, let's go back to your regular schedule programming.
Yeah, right. It matters not, it doesn't do anything. But yeah.
Awesome.
I
Well,
guess
Caleb,
that's
thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. We had an absolute blast.
Thank you so much.
Sorry we stumped you.
No,
But
you're good.
kind of fun.
You're good. Yeah, I freeze on the spot sometimes, but I really appreciate the opportunity.
And that's girl stuff.